now back in the OpenText studio. I am joined, as promised, by Thabiso Hlatshwayo. He's a member of OpenText. And first of all, thank you, Thabiso, for joining us. We do appreciate it. I know you have a busy day ahead of you.
It's yes, it is quite exciting. We've been planning it, and it's exciting to see the day happen today. Yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff. So I guess for the people that are tuning into the live stream, perhaps if you could just unpack your role at OpenText, kind of what do you oversee there?
Absolutely. Yeah. So I'm in charge of the Africa business, particularly what we call solution consulting. So our role is to meet customers, understand their pains, and using the OpenText set of tools to try and address the challenges that they have. And ideally we do things like showing them value, how quickly we can make that value happen, and solve problems. And that's essentially what we do. And so we are still part of the sales team, but with the technical arm of the sales team, because what we bring to organizations is quite complex. You know, so if we're going to be solving complex problems, usually the customers want to go deep into understanding how you're going to interrupt my business, how you're going to reduce the interruption to my business, etc. That's essentially what solution consulting does.
Great stuff. You mentioned customers there, and I think it's a good kind of jumping off point as far as OpenText acquisition of Micro Focus is concerned. What does that mean for customers kind of moving forward? Because obviously the acquisition is relatively new, people are still kind of trying to find their feet perhaps. Yeah. But what does that mean?
Look, we are a big organization. I think that's first to start. So it's taken us a bit of time also to come together, to really match the two organizations together. There's a whole lot of things that we bring that historically OpenText never had, that Micro Focus had, and vice versa. So the idea is for customers, bringing two best-in-class operators globally into one just means the value becomes bigger. It means we're able to solve deeper problems. It means we're becoming more entrenched. And we as the organization of OpenText, we see ourselves as becoming quite a focal point for customers, running their very critical workloads, mission critical reliance inside of OpenText. You'll also hear the journey of cloud. The fact that the pace of the technology landscape and I guess the narrative of the world today is the need for everything to operate a lot quicker, a lot faster, etc. And as we move over to that journey, you start to see that we pick best of both, coming from both the stables into one, giving the customer the very best of options for them to solve some of their new challenges that are basically being faced today.
Understood. You mentioned cloud there. I recently read that OpenText is kind of into a relationship or kind of a partnership with Google Cloud. We have a number of hyperscalers operating in South Africa, which is actually great news for businesses. What does that mean as far as OpenText and its relationship now with Google Cloud? What does that mean for South Africa?
That's a very good question. So as you rightfully pointed out, right now we've got a few hyperscalers in country. OpenText has got a very strategic relationship with these hyperscalers. I mean, they are the best at providing infrastructure. So it was only fitting that we become closer to them in order to bring the best of our offerings forward. Specifically with Google as an example, the OpenText cloud solutions that we offer. You know, we will offer OpenText on some of the hyperscalers managed on a customer's environment. We will also offer the same type of offer managed by OpenText for those customers who feel they want us running their workloads. If you think about the fact that OpenText also have their very own cloud multi-tenant offerings, a lot of these are actually made on top of Google. And while we've had the pleasure of all these applications running globally, we didn't have this in South Africa. So with Google coming into country, we are starting to see the potential that we will start to have some of those multi-tenant OpenText offerings starting to become a possibility for the African continent. So that is the relationship that we have, but specifically with Google, it's quite a special one as well, because it was a global investment from an OpenText strategy to put some of our multi-tenant solutions that a lot of our customers use locally. So the comfort of knowing that Google is coming into country will also mean that some of their workloads won't have to ever leave the country as a part of this Google strategy. So of course, the same is applicable with AWS and Azure. We've got a very close knitted strategy, and we try to be agnostic with some of the key large hyperscaler providers in the region. So we've seen today some of the banks have chosen either Azure and AWS. We will work with any one of those agnostically. I guess the Google relationship is extra special because of the multi-tenant offerings that we've got living inside of the Google Cloud.
That's great to hear. I'm sure also customers will be pleased to hear that OpenText does not discriminate when it comes to hyperscaler. But I just wanted to perhaps just focus a bit more on the Google Cloud kind of partnership. Google has invested heavily in Africa over the past 2 years. Was that, I guess, a key part as far as kind of partnering with them is from a strategic perspective, kind of that reach into the rest of the continent?
Look, while we keep abreast of all these hyperscalers, you are very much correct. Google is going quite far into Africa, and maybe I'm looking outside of South Africa. They've spent a great deal of effort into the rest of the African markets, Nigeria, Kenya, etc. And you're correct. If we're going to be cementing our leadership footprint across the rest of Africa, this relationship then starts to become extremely pivotal, and we're looking to leverage that all together in order to ensure that what we're offering for the guys in Morocco, which is primarily underpinned by Google, then the OpenText story starts to become quite a cemented one. So absolutely, it was a strategic play, and it remains for us a strategic play altogether. Yeah.
Perfect stuff. Kind of focusing on today's event, kind of what's your role, what you're going to be doing? I know that you will talk a bit more about your local keynote that you'll be delivering a bit later, but what's your kind of role? What are you kind of looking forward to experiencing today?
Yeah, you know what? I think 2-3 years later now, with COVID having really come in, we experienced a lot of separation. Where we transitioned into working online, etc. We've become comfortable with that. So for me, it's the first time that I'm coming into an OpenText event here in Africa of this magnitude. We're having a great deal of customers, partners, experts from OpenText all together in one area to share and exchange ideas. I've got an analogy. My mom always says, if you have an apple and I have an apple, if we exchange that apple, we're still remaining with one apple. But if we've got ideas, you've got an idea and I've got an idea, and if we exchange these ideas, we are walking away with 2 ideas each. This is essentially what's happening here. The power of networking cannot be underestimated. The power of sharing ideas between customers to customers, partners to customers, and vice versa. This is the strength that we've come to appreciate in such a setting that we're having today. My role has been, of course, helping out from a technical setup perspective, assisting the marketing team, pulling this whole thing together, orchestrating the presentations and so forth. That's what I've been doing as the leader of the pre-sales organizations inside of OpenText. What I'm particularly looking forward to is the outcomes of the session. So the follow-on from all these interactions that we would have had today. The idea is to really see what we then have in 6 months' time when customers are coming and saying, after the Africa Summit, I've been able to change areas X and Y inside of my organization.
Understood. Unfortunately, I will not be able to tune into your local keynote, but for those people that are interested in what you have going to be presenting, perhaps can you give us a little bit of preview? Obviously not the entire presentation, but what the kind of trends that you guys will be looking at?
So it's a really pivotal part of the day. Of course, it's my session, so I have to be biased to some degree. Absolutely. So, but no, I mean, to be truthful, OpenText is moving into a world of we are having the heart of our customers' information at the center, information management. With the world of ChatGPT coming in now and influencing the entire technology landscape, we've already, as a leader in the market, are starting to put into place our own version of a ChatGPT-like style of interacting with your information, viewing your information, to prepare for the upcoming generation who are going to be used to working with tools like ChatGPT, right? And so we are telling that narrative and setting that narrative up, and like I said, setting up the pace in this industry of information management, and starting to build that into our technologies. My topic is going to be not only to talk about some of these AI leading trends, AI leading things. We've got an area called Aviator, which is a new conversation that we've brought up as OpenText, where that we've built our own version of ChatGPT into our own applications. So I will be doing some of those demonstrations with an emphasis on leveraging AI and catapulting the machine and human team that we know is the future of technology in the world today.
Dan, I'm going to be sad to miss that, unfortunately. The demo sounds really interesting. I think future-proofing the business, especially kind of supercharging your business with AI, is going to be really important moving forward. So it sounds like a really good presentation, and some demos sound really exciting. So Sad to be missing it, but I do appreciate you taking the time to have a chat with us, and best of luck with your presentation and also with the networking that you'll be doing today.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me today, and I'm excited. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Thabiso.